Some ravens are not what they seem. They sit apart from the flock and watch, and they wait. A few wait for years until they can wear a human face again. Claire moved to Kaldafjörður from London at the end of summer, chasing a post-grad place and his certainty that an office desk would slowly kill her. The town sat deep in the West Fjords of Iceland, so remote the famous Ring Road was a 200-mile drive away. That far north, the summer sun never set and midnight glowed like noon. The winter would be the opposite. She found work guiding cruise ship visitors over the mountain passes. The whole region ran on a single set of power lines, and winter storms knocked them out often, so blackouts were a fact of life. Her favorite story for the tourists was the legend of the changeling raven. Long ago, a mother who could not feed her newborn would leave the baby in the lava fields, and the child came back as a lost spirit in the shape of a raven. There was a cruel truth under it. Ravens copy the sounds around them, from dripping water to a human voice. The tale said that when a raven found an abandoned baby crying in the fields, it would learn the cry and carry it back to the village. Maybe to bring help. Help never came. Claire wanted to study ravens for her thesis. At the end of one tour, her boss Berna warned her to beware the ravens that watched her. Claire laughed it off as spooky theater, but something in the woman's voice told her otherwise. She forgot it until the last cruise ship of the season pulled away. Claire was talking through thesis ideas with a classmate when Berna went pale at the mention of the birds. She leaned in close and asked whether Claire was certain she wanted to study the ravens. Claire said it hardly mattered, since it was only an idea. Berna dropped her voice to a whisper. She said people vanished here when the lights went out, never for long, because everyone knew everyone and a missing face got noticed. They came back after a few days, but the one who came back was wearing someone else's life. That was why she never stayed through winter. She would rather hate Reykjavik than be taken like the rest. She gave a thin, sleepless laugh and drove into the dusk. The daylight drained away fast. After one last sunset in mid-November, the sun stayed hidden behind the peaks and the town surrendered to the dark until spring. Claire let the warning slip from her mind until she met the boy. She had taken an after-school coaching job for young children. One boy never fit in and seemed almost frightened by the others. When he turned violent one afternoon, she phoned his mother, bracing for excuses. Instead, the woman asked her to be patient. She said her son had not been himself for a year, not since the blackout. The mother searched for the words. She said the winter dark here was heavier than anything Claire had known, and that it pressed on people until a stranger seemed to move in behind their eyes. They lost memories and forgot their own families. Claire asked if there were others. There were, the woman said, and everyone had gone missing for days right after a blackout. Claire told her flatmate Cody about it on the walk home. He was from Texas and barely listened. A cold unease crawled over her, the way a dog senses a storm before it breaks. Gulls and ravens picked through the bins, and most ignored her. One did not. A single raven sat on a rooftop, perfectly still, eyes fixed on them. When they turned down another street, it lifted to a higher perch and kept staring. Cody shouted to scare it off, and it did not flinch. As he turned to say goodnight, his voice rang out across the fjord, louder than he realized. One of those echoes came back wrong, seeming to come from the raven itself, copying him. The first blackout fell just before midnight. Every light died at once, and the dark was total, the air dead still, as if the town had been swallowed whole. Then she heard the knocking. It was sharp and pointed, like a cane or a ski pole striking the wood. She wanted her phone for light, but could not remember where she had left it. As she felt around in the black, the tapping grew faster and angrier. She never found the phone, and that missing phone saved her life. She ran her hands along the wall and found the cold metal handle. The instant she touched it, the knocking stopped. She peered through the small window and saw nothing but silhouettes. Then it started again, across the road where Cody lived, and his door swung open. A small light glowed in his hand, and the beam pointed her way, then something blocked it. A shape rose out of the ground, growing tall, almost the shape of a man, Almost as it stood, it spread something along its sides, the way a bird opens its wings. It lunged at that house and Cody's light went out. The power flickered back on. Claire crept outside toward Cody's house. There was nothing there, but his door hung open, and sticking out of the snow near the step was a single black feather. Cody did not come to class the next day, and his room stayed empty. They talked about telling the police, but Claire said no because of what she saw the next night. She had hiked up the mountain pass for the northern lights, and at the highest point she could reach, she froze. Against the green glow, a silhouette danced on the summit ledge, twisting and broken, jerking movements like a puppet worked by hands that could not control it. The shape looked like Cody, round and stooped. She took one step forward, and it went rigid, as if it could feel her watching from below, then it dropped backward and was gone. For days after the blackout, Cody returned, hollow and far away, nothing like the loud man they had known. His Texan accent was gone, replaced by something Icelandic, and he struggled with his own language as though learning it fresh. Claire recorded his low muttering in secret. It came out old and slurred, nothing like the Icelandic she had been taught. Hala, a farmer's wife who still had her over for dinner after tourist season, listened to the recordings and frowned. She asked if Claire's friend was Icelandic. Claire said no. Hala said he spoke like a very old man, using words she would only tease an old grandfather for. The things Cody let slip were worse than the old words. He skidded on the ice once, and Claire thought he was cursing until Hala said it sounded more like a man marveling that he kept forgetting this body could fall. His mother called once, and he only stared at the ringing phone, then asked why the little box was singing on its own. When Claire told him it was his mother, he murmured something about a mother, about having one at last, about how long he had been calling for one. The last line Hala translated was the one that made Claire leave Iceland for good, on a walk home. Claire had complained about how the endless dark was wearing her down, and Cody whispered something under his breath. The wind had buried it, but Hala pulled the words loose. He had told Claire not to worry, they would come for her next. She left the next morning and never went back. She caught a lift with a visitor heading to Reykjavik and promised to cover the fuel if he left before dark. She did not even pack a bag. They pulled out as the streetlights came on. Claire looked back as they crested the pass, and just before the town vanished, every light died at once. Kaldafjörður had dropped into another blackout.